Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Integration Station. I've got a guest here from Olympus Myco, and really excited to have them on because they're doing mushroom cultivation and different trainings, all kinds of different things. So without further ado, I'm just going to pass on to you, and we can get into really what inspired you to get into mushroom cultivation yourself, and then a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, awesome. Hey, everybody. My name is Tong. I am one of the owners of Olympus Myco. We are based in Southern California, near Los Angeles. So, for the most part, we initially started in the cannabis industry. And I would say maybe like 7 to 8 years ago, before, like right when cannabis legalized, um, we thought it was a good time to enter the market, but not exactly as a cannabis seller, but we actually supplied cannabis cultivation equipment to the cannabis growers. Our company is actually called that we started off with the Hydroponic City. And then we kind of branched off just recently after just recently, the past year or so. As you guys probably all know, if you are in the industry, um, mushrooms are getting big. They're everywhere, and they're saying that it's really beneficial to your health. And I personally do believe that as well. And I have eaten some. I don't really like to eat too many, but I do like to microdose every once in a while. But besides that, it's just we saw the rise of the industry growing. We wanted to capture the monetary side of it, of course, as a business. And then at the same time, I myself have tried with my partner to cultivate mushrooms several times for the past maybe like 3 years. We got pretty good at it. So it's been a couple years now. We kind of like zoned in our skills and made sure our products are perfect for you guys to use at home, wherever you guys want to use it. Use it on a big scale, small scale, whatever works. But basically, what got me into the mushroom industry, I'm just gonna tell you the truth, it was money. Um, but after trying these mushrooms, they are actually very, very fantastic. I've become a nicer person. Not that I am a mean person. I just, you're a little bit more jolly, a little bit more giggly. I'm definitely nicer to my wife, you know, um, and she says it too. So, which I believe definitely works. And then, yeah, it's like really interesting. Besides, I'm probably here talking about more of the psychedelic end, but besides the psychedelic ones, you have lion's mane, you have reishi, you have cordyceps. Um, there's a couple other I'm definitely missing, but these are like very, very beneficial to you. Besides the fact, I mean, these don't get you any sort of crazy hallucinogenic effects, but health wise, oh man, I mean, you might not think it instantly works because it's not like a Western medicine, whereas to you take it 30 minutes later, you're gonna feel it. But if you really do eat this in like a microdose amount consistently, I mean, I've seen the effects in myself personally, and I do feel better in general. Besides that, am I missing anything?
No, I'm curious, like, when was the first time you did your microdose?
Huh. I would have to say my first time wasn't a microdose. Out of curiosity, I believe, several people's first experience was not a microdose. You just want to try it. And then, sometimes when you eat too much, it doesn't feel too good. But yeah, my first time I got pretty lucky. It was actually fun. I did eat. I don't know what strain it was, but it was some sort of psychedelic one. My friend tried to feed me. Um, but it was fun. I was behind a keyboard. The keyboard lights started like getting really glowing and stuff, and then definitely I was like, oh yeah, I think something's happening. And then all of a sudden we're all just laughing. And then the next day, besides the whole experience of the fun part, the next day I really did feel refreshed. As if you do go online and you kind of take a look at like what does psychedelic mushrooms do to you as far as a beneficial health form. Next day I felt good. I felt really good. I don't know how to explain it. It was very like, it wasn't like I was high on like happiness. It just felt better. I felt more refreshed, more energized. It was a good feeling.
Yeah, I get it. Like on those big doses, like there comes that point of like, oh my gosh, this is like really gets like uncomfortable. But what's really cool about it, no matter whether it's a high dose or a low dose, it's like it stays with you over time. You're kind of like building this relationship with it. This like alternative way to see life and work through the
Yeah.
things, grow through what it is that we go through in life. It can definitely be a really good tool. And I get excited because like a lot of our viewers are come from the cannabis space or are currently in the
Mhm.
cannabis space. And this is really where you guys started out years ago, supplying growers with different tools for indoor grow, and you're doing similar things in
Mhm.
the mushroom realm now. I'd like to just talk about that, how that like transpired, and also like let's get into some of the money part too, and as that being one of your motivators, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are also timing in, and even though everybody that's here is really passionate about these different plants and ways, there is this, it is where a lot of money flow is going right now. So it's, and there are people that are struggling and people who are going in. So I think getting perspectives all the way around can be really helpful. So I'd love
Oh
if we
yeah.
could dig into it all. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so basically, I don't know if for the people that are in the cannabis industry for the past, let's say, how many years to the past decade, the industry did greatly decline from what it was before, as far as the value of a pound of weed, and or anything of the sort that has THC. So, with competition and over the years, saturation, the market does get squeezed and the margins get smaller. And then with the competition, you do get less, you got to share more people entering the market. So, the way I like to do business is I usually like to, you just got to adjust, but I like to usually work in an industry that is growing instead of declining. Um, Not saying the cannabis industry is declining, but I'm just saying it wasn't what it used to be. But
And there's a
yeah.
lot of growth in the mushroom industry. This was something
Oh
people were
yeah,
scared to go in the forest. Like there was so much propaganda like
yeah,
around it. It's so much fear. And now it's like everybody wants to grow mushrooms at home, and more people are talking about it as an alternative to SSRIs, and to get off addictions and all kinds of
yeah.
different things. So it's really emerging, and when we can look at the data and the numbers and things like that, you can really see that this is a huge increase. And I would, for one, rather see money in the hands of people who are doing this kind of work, because it seems like they know what to do with money in other ways, how to like still be of service and create more, yeah, just ways to share the medicine. So
Oh yeah, the mushroom industry is definitely growing. I would say we are nowhere close to where the industry would be and should be in the next coming years, as things progress. I'm not just saying the psychedelic side, but as far as they do have out there, they say they have these 5 super mushrooms, which are those healthy ones and stuff. Um, they're they're gonna they're gonna figure out how to get these into the grocery stores, and they're gonna sell them in mass. You know what I mean? I believe it. It's like, why eat a regular button mushroom when you could just eat a lion's mane? It tastes the same. You could marinate the same way, but you're gonna get so much more benefits of it. It's just currently right now. I did watch a article on, I forgot what it was. It was like Netflix or YouTube or something, but they're basically saying the only reason why you can't really get access to this right now in the supermarket is just because the way that mushrooms are, they just mold very easy. They go bad really
Yep.
quickly. And so right now, the mushrooms we eat is a very is the ones that we know, with the gourmet mushrooms, they have it down over the years to make sure they could supply you in a manner where all of it stays fresh. And then surprisingly, like 30% of their facility actually kind of goes to waste, or at least this one I was watching, and they said they actually have to sell off. They sell it like, I think it was like $1.25 a pound at wholesale, but they said the 30% that actually goes to waste, they have to sell it off at like 50 cents a pound, because it's not like it's bad mushrooms, but it's just not pretty mushrooms, and then the supermarkets don't want to take it, right? So like with
Yep.
all of these complications and all of these steps, and with all of this stuff, if you think about it, for them to really, really just bring a lion's mane in mass onto the market, or even reishi, or especially cordyceps, because those are kind of strange. You need to grow them with some sort of different substrate, just because they're more of like a parasitic mushroom than a little bit different from the others. But yeah, to bring that to the market and to keep it fresh and to keep it like going for everybody, it's gonna be tough, just because there's not exactly that many cultivators of this. I know it's been emerging lately, though. Like lion's
Yeah.
mane's been really, really big. You'll see lion's mane grows everywhere, and that stuff is awesome. If you want to get the
It's
health
so good.
benefits, yeah, if you want to get the health benefits of these psychedelic mushrooms that all of these, the internet's talking about, like, oh, you eat this, you get high, and then you'll feel good the next day, and you'll be healthy. Like, if you don't want to get high, just eat lion's mane. It does the same thing for you, almost, I would say, right? But without the whole, in your face, I get all excited and craziness. If you really, really just want to kind of support your health, and your cognitive skills, especially. I have a lot of friends that are very heavy drinkers. They drink every day, and then they stumbled upon these chocolate bars with psilocybin in them, right? I don't know what brand. I don't. They're eating all sorts of random stuff, right? But um, yeah, and it's crazy. He'll eat. I think he's eating a little too much. He'll eat like half a chocolate bar a day. I'm just like, wow, that's a little crazy. But he says, like, I don't need a drink. I don't want to drink. Like, I'm just happy eating these chocolate bars, and I don't really feel like drinking. And then that's what's shocking, because I'm just like, dude, you drink every day. That's crazy. Like, sometimes it's hard for you to get you to just like, maybe let's just go out without you drinking first. But he's just like, yeah, I just eat these chocolates. They're awesome. I mean, I can't say that he's still not drinking, but it did last like a good month, where he was kind of just like really, really not into alcohol, and I was really shocked, because I know the guy, and I'm just like, man, you are a heavy drinker. The fact that you aren't going to be, the fact that you're saying like, this is fun, I don't really need a drink, that's really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I really got to give a shout out for that for sure. Cause, everybody's dose is going to be a little bit different, but congratulations to him for taking those steps. I really believe that they played a role in me quitting drinking back in 2014.
Wow, yeah.
And I know like there are many people in our network and in our community who are working through this currently, or who have already overcome it, and are helping other people's in this way. So it's amazing what these mushrooms can do. And I love that you're putting emphasis on the medicinal mushrooms as well as the psychedelic ones, because,
Yes, of
both
course.
are emerging, and
Yeah,
getting into like the easy mushroom cultivation and things like that you guys are sharing. It's just going to make it more available, and maybe even be one of
definitely.
these kinds of solutions instead of using a grocery store. You can do a lot of this stuff at home, like we can go to a grocery store and buy carrots and celery and all that stuff and regrow it. And we could also grow mushrooms at home, and we can grow so
It's
much
not
stuff. You
hard.
don't need a lot of space. So
It's
yeah, please
growing
share.
mushrooms is really simple. Everybody makes it overcomplicated. Um, no, clean this, clean that. This has to be this way. It can't be dirty at all. Realistically, over the years, what we realized is as long as your material off the base, off the start is clean, like your substrate and definitely your grain, is fully sterilized. You didn't cut corners. You didn't try to save 30 minutes here on sterilization. You really get that down. Um, you're pretty much safe, because mycelium is pretty strong itself. You go ahead and give it a really good clean base to work with. Once it does grow and any contamination kind of tries to enter, the mycelium will kind of eat it off, kill it and overtake it. So initially, yeah, if you just kind of work with really clean material and you sterilize it, you could even, I'm not suggesting you do it, but you could even use a dirty hand and you should be fine. It's just really just following the steps.
Can you walk me through or walk us through, what some of those steps actually look like? If I was going to go to the website right now, what does that? Can you walk us through it? And
As
the
far as how to
package,
purchase or how to grow the mushrooms.
because yeah, after the purchase, like let's say I get my stuff from you, I'm like grab it from my door. Like, what's the next step? What's each step
Oh
follow?
yeah, definitely. So, well, there's a lot to say about this subject. So currently there are several methods of growing mushrooms, whether gourmet or psychedelic. Um, One thing is there are particular mushrooms that won't grow like from home. Like for one, I'm sure you know about this magical mushroom, the Amanita muscaria. You know what I mean? It's not part of the psilocybin family. It is also not illegal. But if you want to eat it, you really should be careful. It's got a really strong kick. I haven't eaten it myself, but the stories are there's kind of gives me goosebumps a little bit, But yeah, this stuff is certain things like this and shiitake you can't grow from home. You know what I mean? It's just something about nature. I think the amanitas need to grow next to like a tree or a certain type of tree. There's like some symbiosis that makes it grow because people have tried growing this amanita inside of like a tub or a grow or like a little. I'm sure you've seen like a mushroom grow bag. We sell it on our website, and they haven't been successful. If you search Google, if you look everywhere, I don't think anybody's been successful at growing that from home. That's why it's so magical when you do find one out in the wild. You're just like, oh my god, now that's a beautiful mushroom. By the way, that Amanita muscaria is that Super Mario mushroom, the red one with all of the white dots that you see everywhere. So it's a real one. They just don't tell you that it's really strong. Also, but yeah. So for the most part, you could grow in a tub. You could grow in a bag. Both methods are awesome.
Which one do you guys prefer?
I would say on a large scale, I would go with the bags just because thinking cleaning like thousands of tubs after every time you harvest is literally gonna create a whole nother team of people just for the cleaning side, and then you need almost the same amount of people just for the
Yeah.
cultivation side. Now, if you just use a plastic bag, and once you're done, you toss it away, and they're really cheap. You literally cut away maybe like 4 or 5 people as far as labor. If you thinking about cleaning and sterilizing 1,000 tubs is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say on a large scale, use bags for home hobbyists, growers, or people that want to really like connoisseurs. Definitely use a tub. You get more square footage. It's just the sacrifice of cleaning. Um, but there are also a lot of large scale growers that still use tubs till this day, just because they're good at it and they get better results in a tub. And some genetics actually do better in a mono tub compared to in a grow bag, just because there are different levels of CO2 inside of each container. whereas to the bag kind of doesn't release as much CO2 as the tub because you could kind of control how big you want the holes. But basically, you get the material, cut to the chase. There's two different kinds. You need substrate and you need a grain. You can use any sorts of grain. They have very popular right now is Milo, which is also sorghum. You can use millet. Rye berry is an industry favorite. You could use bird seeds if you want to. It gets very cheap. It's not an expensive hobby at all, you know. But basically, get the material and you would want to fully sterilize it. A lot of people like to use a pressure cooker, and a good 2 hours to 3 hours is good at 250 degrees. Go ahead and get that material fully sterilized. And then you're going to need some sort of genetics, whether it comes in an agar plate. I don't know if you guys seen those little petri dishes with the little white
got
snowflakes.
some over here.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Man, some of them come out
It's
like wow.
beautiful art.
Yeah, when you know what you're looking at, like sometimes you're just like, wow, this one came out so nice. Oh my gosh, right? So you can always get an agar plate, slice a little piece, and then just drop it into the grain that you got sterilized. Or a lot of people like to use liquid culture, which is basically the same idea as the agar plate, except for it's grown into a liquid form, that a liquid mold. I think there's different bases, but it's for the mycelium to kind of eat up the nutrition and to colonize and really multiply. But you get either that, you can inject it into the bag, or drop the agar plate in there. I would say you need a good 20 days to a month to wait till the bag fully colonizes. After that, you just kind of cut it open and you pour it into the substrate. Wow. Yeah, there you go. There's the liquid culture.
And this is the plate.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So that's an agar plate, and then the liquid culture, you can use either or. Go ahead and just drop it into the grain. Like I said, wait 20, 30 days. After that bag turns nice and white. In between that, you probably want to crush it up a little bit. It kind of speeds up the process. But yeah, after it turns nice and white, you just introduce it to the substrate of your choosing, which most of the times people like to use cocoa vermiculite and gypsum, which is a standard abbreviation in the industry. I don't know if you guys seen the letters CVG. Just stands for cocoa vermiculite gypsum. And then, yeah, you just put it together, wait another 20 to 30 days, and you're just going to see mushrooms just popping out everywhere. I mean, it's very simple. I'm not trying to make it sound easier than it is. It's that easy, right? I mean, I'm sure you know yourself, Ashley. I'm guessing you've grown a couple mushrooms with those agar plates and liquid cultures.
Yeah. So those ones all belong to Steve, and so he's been working on that, like, and learning like from the bottom up. I've cheated in the past and used grown kits, and I've tried and sampled different ones. So I've worked with it and I've been around it and I've seen labs, and I love nature's beauty, but I spend a lot of time on the road, so it hasn't always aligned. I get the experience, but haven't fully done it myself.
Yeah, it's hard. You gotta, like I said, it's like a good 2 months from like scratch to really get that mushroom out of the out of the substrate. So it's a good 60 days that you just gotta stay put. Can't leave.
Yeah. And there's failures along the way, like even being here observing what he's going through. It's like, and we talk to a lot of different mycologists too, and even on like big high scale levels, there still is these things with contamination, and
of course,
and it can be like frustrating and things like that too. But like, honestly, Steve has such a great attitude with it. He's like, it's going to the compost. Like, I'm good, great lesson. Like, he's pretty good with it. But
that's the attitude you gotta have.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets tough
the
sometimes.
love for it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, because some people just get upset. The molds multiply. You can't stop it. You get really frustrated. Just don't know what to do, and that happens all the time. Because once mold starts, it's just colonizing in your facility now. Technically, if you know.
Yeah, especially if it's like before that they've like actually pinned and taken over and things like that for themselves.
Yeah, that's like, when they're actually more fragile. Once they
Yeah.
pin, they get kind of a better chance, and they almost have that coat, that white layer around the substrate, that thick white layer. Let's say in a tub, there's a thick white layer on top,
Mycelium.
and then yeah, that mycelium, right? That mycelium layer, that's actually almost like an immune system for them. It's that layer is hydrophobic, so if you try to get that piece of substrate and you just throw it on water, it's just gonna float. It won't even sink. So if you think about it, it's pretty protected to the point where like water won't even seep in. It's got a good little hold in there. So whatever that's trying to get in there, it's fairly shielded at a certain point. A little
Did
bit
you?
later on, like you said, when the mushrooms are actually popping out.
Yeah. Did you see that girl that made a canoe out of mycelium?
Oh wow, no, I did not.
So
That's
yeah, she built the base and then just started growing it out. And some parts have mushrooms, but yeah, because of that waterproof bottom, she's actually
wow,
able
that's
to
awesome.
go. Yeah,
She
it's
actually
crazy
used
what
it.
people are doing. Pardon?
She used the canoe and everything.
Yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
wow.
I think it was a
That's
canoe. It could
amazing.
have been a kayak. I was just
I
like,
mean, as
I
long as
get
it floats.
things sent to me, but yeah, it went. It was like a real thing.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so see, there you go. That's proof right there, right?
Yeah.
Hydrophobic. Mycelium is very, very amazing. What
Yeah.
it could do. It looks like just some white stuff, but it's doing some amazing stuff.
Yeah. And it's good for us too. I remember what you were saying there for a little bit about like just the waste of parts of the mushroom, like the bottom parts or like and things like that. And I was reminded of the network that we run, and the a lot of our group members like come together that are mycologists, and they
Hmm.
found another member who runs like a nonprofit psilocybin temple in Oregon.
Oh,
And they
uh-huh.
started working together. So like those scrap parts now get used for tincture that are given freely as microdoses to
Oh
people who are
wow, that's
getting off of
awesome.
addictions through the church. So it's all legal. And
That's
it's like
so
it's
awesome.
it's really beautiful, like watching these kinds of things unfold too. Like there's so much innovation, there's so much like to be done in this space. It's like it's really inspiring. And
Oh yeah, in Southern California, they have there's people actually making psilocybin extract. So now that's crazy because it looks like, I don't know if you guys seen this crumble, as far as cannabis extract crumble. It looks like
yeah,
yellow gold crumble, but the price is ridiculous. But like you said, they're taking the scraps, even mycelium, the mycelium of
yeah,
the cake,
that's
because the
what triggered
mycelium
it.
has,
Yeah,
yeah, the mycelium has psilocybin in there. It has a good amount, not as much as the mushrooms, of course, but it's in there. So they take that and they just go ahead and throw it in the extract, and then they get psilocybin extract. So I mean, yeah, the industry is definitely finding ways to use up all of the scraps and everything that's there. That way it doesn't go to waste. I know other people use it for their old substrates for compost, and they kind of
yeah,
just they let it dry out in the backyard and then throw it around like the tree. And they say, man, the fruits on the trees are just thriving after they add that in there. So I mean, I bet the mycelium is so powerful. I'm sure it's doing all sorts of amazing things.
yeah. Yeah, and it's got to be doing all that for our body too. I know you're working with a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
for
the
sure.
medicinal mushrooms. Can you share a little bit more about some of the benefits that you've experienced in your own life or that you're seeing in people in your life?
So as far as the beneficial, like the health ones, I've tried them. I've tried lion's mane. I've tried reishi. Um, so as you can see, I am Chinese. Well, I'm Asian, but uh, my parents-in-law really, really believe to eat cordyceps, along with a lot of Asians, or at least Chinese people do. Supposedly, it's very, very expensive, like the natural ones, and they're harvested only one time a year in like the Himalayan mountains. I might be wrong about the mountain, but somewhere, you know. And then like the whole village just goes harvest it, and then they go sell it off. So that's like their earnings for the whole year, basically. Um, but it's really, really expensive, and they make me eat everything. It's kind of because I know it's a worm. How a cordyceps works is basically it's a parasitic mycelium, and it will, uh, in nature at least, it will kind of this fungi will just kind of the spore will drop onto like let's say a caterpillar. Most of it is a caterpillar, um, and then it'll kind of start taking over the insect, and it hits the brain because the mushroom is very powerful. It's very powerful cognitive tool, but it'll kind of tell the insect to start acting in ways where it doesn't really regularly act, and it kind of almost mind controls it. And then the mycelium will kind of start colonizing from the inside out of the bug, and then it'll almost petrify it. And then after it petrifies, it kind of just grows from the floor, and then it's like a little small stem, and then the caterpillar is just on top, just dried out. It looks so disgusting. That's why I don't really want to eat it. And they make me eat the stem too, because I'm like, I already ate the bug, man. I don't want to eat the stem. They're like, eat it. It's good for you. This stuff's expensive. I'm just like, ah. So I do eat cordyceps. I'm kind of forced to eat it. It's I don't know. That one, I don't know. That one, I think I'm just grossed out by the bug. But it's supposed to do it's supposed to, help you like with your all sorts of stuff. But that's one of the super true mushrooms that out of the five that they're talking about over here in America. I read about it, and you could actually cultivate cordyceps yourself. Kind of sounds nasty, but they said instead of using cocoa, you got to use
they say
maggots.
It depends on the climate, because I think it's harder in like Texas and places with a lot of humidity, but that's just what I've been hearing. I don't know for sure. I haven't done it.
Yeah, that one's tricky, because I hear like you have to use bugs, like maggots or some sort of nutrition to imitate that bug, the bug that they want to take over. And then, but at least the ones I see on Google, they don't look like a caterpillar. It looks like a cordyceps, like an actual cordyceps. I think the Asian ones, they kind of just eat the natural way. But in the end of the day, that whole bug got taken over by the mycelium. And realistically, insects are healthy for you, so it's okay. But yeah, I tried reishi, shiitake. Oh, shiitake is not one of the superfoods, is it? I'm not sure.
It's a culinary mushroom. It is quite good, and I'm sure medicinal, but it's not one of the top 5.
I see.
But shiitake and maitake, there's like one's beef and one's chicken. It's for flavor. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you're swapping out or trying to, be more, have those meatless days, that's a really good way to swap it out in your main dishes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, I mainly tried microdosing psilocybin. Just because, I'm a busy guy. Sometimes, with busy, you get a little frustrated, get a little stressed. You don't always have the best attitude. So, like I like the optimisticness that it brings out in you. I like to eat just enough. I think my microdose, I do literally weigh it just because I'm very sensitive to this kind of stuff. You give me a little bit too much, I'm gonna get all antsy and like jittery and like, too much coffee kind of jittery and feel like, I don't know if you had that feeling, but I don't like it. Like my knees start shaking and I'm just like, I don't exactly feel good. I'm just like really anxious. Yeah, like anxiety, right? So I really, really try to minimize what I do eat, and I weigh it. I try to keep it to like under 0.2. It's not a lot at all. But like it's like, I think it's like under 0.2. I'll be inside the house and I go out on a sunny day, and it is so sunny. It's not just a sunny day. It's a bright, nice sunny day. That sky is beautiful. Yeah. And I'm not seeing anything. Like I'm not hallucinating whatsoever. I don't see colors, no distortion. Everything is just brighter. That's like a very minimal hallucination, I would say, but it's still like you're still like in your zone, right? You're not kind of like out of it. And you're just like, you really, really appreciate, your environment now. The flowers are just much more beautiful, and that's maybe some high talk, but it's true. It's true. It really feels and looks that way, when I go outside. And then, yeah, I'm just kind of like happier, like sometimes I'll see my wife and I'll just be like, I love you, my beautiful queen. And she'll be like, why did he say that? And I'm thinking like, I don't know either, actually. Maybe it's the mushrooms. right? So yeah, like that. It's only point two, and I don't feel any different from my normal same self. But I'm just, like all of these clues where my wife's like, "Why are you acting funny like that?" And then like, "Oh, the flower's so pretty," But I'm still fully intact, and I understand everything that's going on throughout my day. My memory is fantastic. I'm just happier. Everything just looks better. Why not? Why not? Right?
I like that attitude.
And
Why
the next day, the
not?
best thing is the next day I feel better. Like I have a little bit burst of
Not
energy in
like
the
a
morning.
hungover or anything. It's like
Yeah,
it
no hangovers.
lasts, right?
Yeah, I can't say that energy lasts the whole day, but like how right when you wake up, you feel a little groggy and you don't really want to wake up. I wake up like I'm ready. What are we doing today? You know what I mean? That's a whole different feeling of waking up. Like you just kind of wake up in a brighter mood, way more active. Like if you could even get that out of your day, I say that's a plus, a big plus,
Yeah, for
right?
a lot of people right now, that's a
Yeah, and a lot
big
of people
plus.
can't get out of bed. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Just whether
let alone with a
whatever
good
situation
attitude.
you're in, yeah, or you're just not feeling it or whatever it is,
Mhm.
man, if you could get just pop out of bed feeling great, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
medicine right there, right?
it is.
Yeah.
Take your medicine, people.
Yeah, take
Honestly,
your
though, like
medicine.
I really I like the idea of microdosing as well. Like point two, that'd be like 200 milligrams. So it's kind of on the higher end of microdose.
Oh,
But
okay. So
no
that's
matter
I'm a big
that,
guy. I weigh 200
that's
pounds.
your
That's 6'1".
dose. Yeah.
So
And
I've
if
tried less.
like,
I don't feel anything. I've tried
yeah,
more, like 0.25, and I don't like it.
I
Like that
love
point
that
two is like my
you
sweet
did it.
spot. Yeah,
Yes, you found it, and that
yeah,
takes a little bit of work. I'm glad that you found it and that you're maintaining it. I really like to say too, like with these microdoses, we really are an active participant. Like you take something that's too high, you're going for a ride. Like you may as well cancel your day's appointments, like go hug a tree because nothing else is getting done. And then,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
when you're
yeah.
microdosing,
Basically,
you got that good, yeah, you got that good dose and it's a good microdose and you're an active participant in life, in the
yeah.
journey. You're
I
not
agree.
weighed
I
down
agree.
by like all that negativity that wants to come in, or perspectives that maybe dampen the day. It's like for some reason you can be a more present and more of a participant in life in general, and it's a beautiful thing. It's good medicine for sure.
No, yeah, for sure. It's yeah. That's what I think right now, the world needs to get a little bit more educated on. It's just not a mushroom that get high off of. I mean, like you said, um, it is unfortunately closely tied to the cannabis industry, and it will give you those certain connotations as it is like a like an extracurricular drug. You could take it in that way, I guess, but besides the fact, it's very very beneficial for you if you take it in an accurate amount, I would say.
How are you taking the other medicinal mushrooms? Is it like a daily thing? Are you taking it like in capsules, tinctures? Uh, yeah,
When I
and
when I got the lion's mane one, I actually it
yes,
was
any of
yeah,
those.
it's you could actually just buy it on Amazon. I mean, like we don't sell our any like a brand of our mushrooms, but I mean, you just go on Amazon, search up lion's mane extract powder, and then they sell it to you by the capsules, or you could have they give you like a container too. And what a lot of people like doing is they like putting in their morning coffee. I hear it's awesome. I haven't tried myself just because I don't have any extract powder handy, but yeah, like if I could add just a little, cup of lion's mane every morning. It doesn't affect the taste of my coffee, and you're telling me in 2 weeks I'll start feeling better. I'll add that every day, right? But I bought the capsules. I ate it. Um, I ate it for like a week. I just had it on my desk at work, so every time I just ate it. I stopped before I was able to really, really feel anything. I guess I just don't like taking too much pills. It's not fun. So
Yeah, I
it's
get
like I was just like, okay, I'll do it for fun. I'm like, it's not working. I'm over this. As far as the psilocybin microdose, I would say maybe like 2 3 months ago. That's when I was really actively doing it. Like trying to do it like every 2 to 3 days, because as you know, with psilocybin, it you shouldn't be taking it day after day. When you do, well, you can if you want to, but you're just not gonna feel any effects of it the next day. I think somebody said something about like you don't have enough serotonin from the previous day or something like that. I'm not exactly sure why, but it is known that if you take any psilocybin mushrooms day before and then the next day you take it, you won't feel it as much or as strong, or maybe not even at all.
You can build
So
up the tolerance, but it's still there, like building up the serotonin in your gut. They're getting into a lot of different studies now when it comes to gut health and psilocybin, but it's not like all released yet. A lot of the time though in my coaching practice, sometimes I recommend small, depending on what the person's going through, because I individualize everything, but sometimes I even recommend microdosing twice a day, and
Oh
in the
wow.
morning and at night with different intentions. And then some people it is every day. Other people they do the Stamets protocol or the Fadiman protocol. Those are the ones that are normally like have more breaks in between.
I see.
I a lot of the time I'm working with people who are getting off of different psych meds and things like that too. So they've already got a high tolerance for these kinds of things, and they're already in the habit, most of them, for taking pills multiple times a day. So it's just kind of like more of a swap out or.
Well, that makes sense. You know what? I was actually talking about people that aren't actually sick, like perfectly healthy. You want to build your immune, you want to build this.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna feel that. But I mean, I really didn't account for the people that are actually, sick and have daily issues. I'm sure taking it every day and multiple times a day will help. You know what I mean? In that case,
And
I'm
it
just talking
depends
about a
what
healthy
person,
person.
right?
You want to just add some to your
Yeah.
coffee to just, like I'm not sure you're gonna feel it tomorrow. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But if you need
Yeah.
it, yeah, I'm sure it helps. If you need it, then
Yeah.
that's so magical, like I've been saying, right?
Have you
But
ever
yeah,
worked with any of them fresh, like lion's mane? Have you had the opportunity to try that fresh, or
you know what?
any?
Right, couple rooms down, we do have a I think it's a 8 by 8 tent up, and then we have all of that growing lion's mane reishi. It's really just for our product pictures, and then also at the same time, when we're done, and it's for like the management to learn how to grow too. At the same time, they're
Yeah.
learning a lot of ways, to like a lot of tricks. There's not one right way to grow mushrooms. There's multiple ways to grow mushrooms. Um, yeah, there's tons of you learn something new every day, basically. And then yeah, for the most part, we kind of just give it to when it's done. We give it to somebody at work. So you want to take it home, go cook it. It's good for you. But we just have a tent up, just constantly always growing. All sorts of genetics of. I think we have like some Florida. I don't know. We have some weird all sorts of edible mushrooms in there. Yeah, but let me see if I can bring you guys. Let's see if they took it down. I told them to take it down because man, our agar plates that we sell was getting colonized. So I'm like, you guys are letting these mushrooms release spores right now. It's not good. Oh, so they took it down. They took out all the mushrooms. The tent's still up, but yeah, our agar plates were getting colonized for a second. I'm like, how is that possible when there's no mycelium introduced to it? And they are like, I think it might be the tent, and there's spores in the air. So yeah, we had to take it down. No more of that. It was fun while it lasted.
Another another lesson learned.
Yep. The rooms were just too close to each other. Maybe if they were further apart, we wouldn't have problems. But
So
yeah,
how
it wasn't
how
happening to
many?
a lot. Like we'll make like thousands every day. Maybe like one or two plates was getting inoculated, but we're like, no way. How is that happening? That's just so strange. I don't even know if that's the reason, but we took it down anyways, just to make sure like shouldn't be any inoculated plates that were sitting there. That doesn't make sense.
If anybody else knows, let us know in the comments for sure.
Oh yeah,
Maybe this is just an odds game.
Yeah, very
But
strange.
it's interesting. I'd like to know.
And before we put up the tent, we didn't have a single plate inoculated. So I'm pretty sure it's that tent. Well, we'll just find out.
So, trying to think of what else we got going on here. Can you like walk us through what your team looks like, how it is that you guys have, been coming together, and the dynamics that you serve? Like what's
Let me give you
all,
guys a tour. Since I'm on the
yeah.
phone, I might as well. Let's see. How do
See?
I flip the camera around? Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
We have. Whoa. This is where we shoot our YouTube videos. So we do have a YouTube channel. Joanne actually runs and directs it, and we have our flow hood. It's a little mess. We haven't made a video for a while, but we can. This is our lights and everything. We should set something up for a podcast. Actually, that would be awesome.
Yeah. We're
Yeah,
looking
we
for
have.
different creators and things like that to come on
Yeah.
and help grow even psychonauts and things. So
So
we,
this is our agar room. This is where we make all our agars, as you can see. We have plenty, all sorts. We have malt, we have charcoal, we have. I'm not exactly sure what the third one is. To tell you the truth. And then we have about 15,000 square foot of warehouse where all the magic happens, and we just get everything you guys order packed along. You see them making the grain bags right
hello
here,
down there.
filling them up. Yeah, it's there's even more space beyond that wall, but I'm not gonna walk down there
Oh no, I
right
understand.
now. But yeah, and then got the management room downstairs underneath where I'm actually at with all the computers and everything. So yeah, we got a full team. This we've been in business for about, I would say, almost a decade now. About like 7, 8 years. Um, to the page. I'm not sure exactly how.
Because you guys first
Um,
came together for Hydroponic City originally,
correct,
right?
correct,
Yeah. Do you
correct.
still
So,
do that work in the cannabis space as well, or are you completely swapped over to Olympus Myco now?
we do. We still have Hydroponic City. Olympus Myco is just another company that we started off just to differentiate it from the hydroponic industry or the cannabis industry, and we have several products that we're launching and still a lot more in testing and still coming along that we will bring to the market soon. But yeah, we just want to make sure everything works before we just present it. I know there's a lot of sellers on there where they're just like, "Oh, it's a bag of grain. Here we go." And you get it, and you go back home, or let's say it ships to your door, and it's already molded. How disappointing is that? You know what I mean? So that's the last thing we want to do to our customers. So we do a lot of testing. We do a lot of QC to ensure that at least we're not giving you a bag of trash, because that's terrible. Nobody wants to receive something and it just from the start it doesn't, you can't use it.
Yeah.
You know what I
And you
mean?
guys don't want the complaints or anything. This is what I like about people who've already been successful in one area, is that the chances are they're going to be successful in the other area too, because they've made a lot of mistakes. And you guys, you've been going for 8 years or so.
Oh
I'm sure that
yeah,
there's a lot that
plenty
you've
of
been
mistakes.
through and
A
learned
lot,
and not.
a lot,
Yeah.
a lot of costly mistakes. And a lot of just what was I thinking mistakes. But yeah, I mean, it's 8 years, long time. You can do a lot.
So how many of you come together? How many are on the board? How many workers are on your team?
I think right now we maybe have around like 30. I think there is two, one, two, three, four, five in management, and I would say um, the rest are warehouse workers. I am the CEO of the company. My partner Leonard is the CFO, and we do have a third partner, which is more of like a silent investor, and he's just busy, So it's not like he doesn't want to help. He's just actually busy with all his other businesses. So, yeah, we've been doing this since yeah, since basically we started a company the year right before California legalized. Because I remember sitting there thinking like, man, I'll tell you the truth, I didn't want them to legalize it. I just knew it was gonna something bad was gonna happen if they legalized this. So I was like, oh man, I hope this doesn't pass. I woke up next day and they passed it. I'm just like, well, guess we can't do nothing about that,
Yeah.
huh? But
Yeah,
yeah, it's been a long time since then, right?
it has.
I don't
And,
know about I don't know about over in Connecticut, but California has been yeah,
well,
been
I
a
spent
while
some
now.
time in California this summer, actually, but I was Northern Cali in Mount Shasta, and I did the
Oh,
redwoods and different things
oh,
like
nice.
that.
It's nice
Um,
there.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Really beautiful area. I
Did you
never went
go?
down as far south as you, though, to experience all that. But
Did you go? Could you go foraging there?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And
nice.
all through Oregon, this is where like all of those Bigfoot tales come from. Those are like the keepers
You
of
know
the
what
forest.
happened? They ate a mushroom and they saw a person and they were just I
Like, or maybe they became it. They're like, I need to protect the forest now.
yes,
And
yeah.
they got all hairy and
Yeah, who knows, right? You see a lot of cool stuff when you're eating mushrooms, so who knows?
oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, too bad there's not really too much space down here around Los Angeles. For, I'm sure there are spots, but it's nowhere as beautiful and you're not going to find as many like, cool strains and all sorts of stuff out here as much as like Oregon or yeah, over in the mid east, I hear it's a really good location, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Canada, Pennsylvania, a lot of like this coast is just so wet here in Connecticut. There's all kinds of mushrooms. I saw blue mushrooms I've never seen before.
Oh,
And like
whoa,
we got the
blue.
wood that's magenta, and there's yeah, the special kind of granite that comes from here that's pink. There's like a
Oh,
lot of weird, funky colors that are coming up. But those blue
wow.
mushrooms, speaking on mushrooms, like that was a really unique thing for me,
So
like that. And they
so
were
do you think
kind of
that
look like
blue one?
ears.
Do you think
Pardon?
that blue one was psilocybin, or was it like more of like a natural blue, like a highlighter, glowing blue?
Oh, it was like a deep sea blue, like when you look into somebody with like dark blue eyes. It's like, and they looked like little
Oh
ears.
wow,
It was
that's nice.
crazy. It looked like somebody took a highlighter on the wood, and the parts of the mycelium was like this gooky blue, and then the mushrooms would pop out of it.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
wow,
there's a lot
that's
out there.
crazy. Yeah, I know. That's you know what? After seeing so much mushrooms, like just the what you described, it's amazing. And you
Yeah,
just see ordinary mushrooms, and then you all of a sudden you see this crazy blue glowing one. Like wow, that's crazy. Yeah,
there's so much magic.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I hope everybody throughout the years can really get into it more. Um, I mean they have this quote. They say we humans are more similar to mushroom than we are to animals. I don't know if you heard that, right?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I believe this with the similarities. If you it sounds a little bit like cannibalism, but if you ingest it, it could greatly help you since we are so alike. The nutritional facts and then all of the health benefits of it. You are what you eat, right?
yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I have a background in nutrition, so I
Oh,
definitely hear that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I honestly have this belief too, with all the legalities around it, the propaganda around a lot of these psychoactive plants, frogs and fungi, I really do believe that they are a type of nutrition that we need and have been deprived from. And that may be one of the reasons why we're so disconnected from the planet and from ourselves, and why
very
this
possibly.
dominator
Yeah,
culture had its upper
yeah,
hand for so long.
yeah. I mean, they literally limited us from eating it. Eating
Yeah.
something that's so magical, and they said it's just you're not allowed. So I mean, yeah, a lot of people have been hidden from this magical fruit. It's very very amazing. I'm glad that we're capable of actually spreading the word. Growing the industry. Like I tell my management, I said right now is the time. I don't want to do this next year. I don't want to do this 3 years later. I don't want to do this 5 years later. Right now is the time. It doesn't matter if it hasn't exactly exploded yet, but you want to be in this industry in the next upcoming years. It's going to be big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel it. I see it. You know, I've been in this industry working with mushrooms for over 20 years. And
Oh
so like
wow.
at the time, like when I first started, it was like I was younger, so there was a lot of experimentation and things. But then as I got older, you know, a lot of people were giving it up and like just not into it. A lot of people forgot. A lot of people never had those experiences. It became like something that I ended up closeting myself from in a way, and I very much isolated, especially when I became a mom. But over time, I just couldn't shake that I had to talk about this. You know, I just couldn't shake that this was more important than anything else that I was doing. And over that time, it's like the more I broke out of my shell and started talking to people and surrounding myself with those people, the more that the law started loosening up. And I'm not saying legality is exactly the right way for it. I say like just decriminalize the whole thing, let people find their own way to their own personal freedom, whatever that looks like for the individual. Maybe it's with a plant or a frog or a mushroom. Maybe it's with a waterfall or, you know, the stars and astrology. You know, I'm not the one to dictate that, but I think that people should have their own freedom to choose. So just, you know,
Yeah,
continue
completely
to
agree.
criminalize it all.
Yeah, man. People, you just, like, I'm, I'm for one, myself. I'm very against Western medicine. I believe if you just take care of yourself, um, you know, eat healthy, have a good immune system, your body is a very, very strong, uh, what would you say it, carrier, right? We could fight off anything as long as we're healthy. You don't really need to take a pill and do this and that. You know what I mean? I think I watched it, Joe Peterson. I don't know if you know Joe Peterson. He's the number one bestseller book of in Canada.
Oh, Jordan Peterson?
Jordan Peterson. Sorry, yeah, Jordan Peterson. There you
Yep.
go. Right, we said I'm like, oh, I'm saying it
Psychologist.
wrong.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, he's amazing. So as of the last uh, I think I've been doing this for maybe 3 or 4 months now. I've been doing intermittent fasting.
Yep.
And then what really got to me is, I mean, I like the guy. I follow him on Instagram and stuff. He's very interesting, the subjects he talks about, his intensiveness. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But he said one thing. He said, I'm on a very strict meat, salt, and water diet. That's all I eat, and I intermittent fast, right? And basically what he said is, when I was younger, I used to have depression. And what he said is, I used to believe I had depression. Not I used to have. He said, I used to believe I had depression because the doctors told me I had depression. Doctors told me to eat all of these medications. I ate it for years, kept eating it, thinking that it helped me. And then he said, literally, one day he stopped taking medication. He started fasting, and he really cut his diet down to just um meat, salt, and water. I don't know, but I've read about this. This is some sort of like carnivore diet or something, right? But he said literally his depression went away. And along with a lot of his other health issues, they all went away because he's basically said, like, you don't give your body the way that we're taught: eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then go to sleep. You don't actually give your body a chance to cleanse itself. You need to kind of like you know, stop eating, stop whatever it is, and then let your body kind of just eat away at the bad stuff that you ingested, right? And honestly, that's been working so well for me. Like, I feel way healthier. I have 2 kids myself. Um, the little one goes to preschool. He comes back sick all the time, gets the whole family sick. The last couple times I thought I was gonna make it where I wasn't gonna get sick, but it turns out I'm just the last one sick. But that just kind of shows, you know what I mean? I'm not really even doing anything extra. I'm always consistently the last one sick, and sometimes I actually don't even get sick when, like, my 2 kids get sick and my wife gets sick. And I've been telling my wife this. I'm like, hey man, you probably just want to fast. And she's like, I'm so skinny already. You want me to get skinnier? And I'm just like, no, nah, that's not a good idea actually. Whatever, But yeah, I believe that fasting works, and natural remedies are they work. You just gotta use it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, what works is what you use. And it's just that our bodies also change over time. So if it stops working, then find something else,
Yeah,
And
there you go. There you
yeah,
go. Gotta adjust.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's
It's the
all
same in
evergreen.
business, you know. It's the
Yeah.
same in business. Like I said, the cannabis industry is not doing so well, so you gotta adjust. Same thing with your body,
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great
right?
way of coming full circle. And on that, I'm
Yeah,
like, of course, going to share all your details below to get in touch with anybody from the Olympus Myco team. There's some discounts down there too, so check it out. Check out their
definitely.
website. Get in that description. I also want to say thank you, Tong, for your time here today. For
And
Joanne
thank
for
you,
hooking us
Ashley.
up.
Thank you very
Yes.
much for having
Is
us.
there anything else? Yes. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we head off today?
No, just Happy New Year's, everybody. That's it.
Happy New Year's. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
We'll talk again, Ashley. Thank you.
Absolutely.